Hi, my name is George.
Hi, my name's Joanne.
Hi, my name is Annika.
Hi, my name is Chris, and we're doing a project on
Modern international students.
And we're trying to dispel the common stereotypes
of international students in the States.
So before we get started, we decided to interview Jim Lee, the director of Internationaggies, a documentary for Asian international students at UC Davis, which focuses on his observation of international students and how it relates to the stereotypes. So we thought, why not hear it from the OG international student himself?
I see myself as an OG international student from China. There are considerable amounts of internationals from China coming in. So Chinese international students, in my documentary 3 years ago, I said they tends to be loud, they tends to stay in big giant group, talking hella loud. And also some of other stereotypes what I heard, like they're loud, they're quiet, they are rich, because you see a lot of Chinese students driving fancy cars around and something like that.
Now that we know the general stereotype, we want to find out if these stereotypes still hold true today. And so, we interviewed other non-international UC Davis students to get their perspectives.
What's the first thing that comes in your mind when you think of international students?
When I think of international students, the first thing that comes to my mind is rich and cliquey. And the reason I say rich is because usually when I see international students walking, they have like brand named items, like they have really nice cars like Mercedes and stuff like that. And they have like, they're walking around with Yeezys and Louis Vuitton, everything. And then the reason I say cliquey is because usually I see them in groups with other international students, usually from the same country, if not like sometimes even the same high school.
Well, I think a lot of international students, they generally have a easier time connecting with students that are also international students, so I see that a lot of them are generally like friends with each other.
While these stereotypes may be true, Jim Lee further explains why.
There are misunderstandings, there are gaps. I really hope that you can keep those stereotypes and maybe try to understand us more, because you have your family in maybe within 100 miles or 200 miles, but our family, it's in another country, so we only have each other. And if some of us are willing to step out, please welcome us, because we are also members in this college.
Now we've also interviewed other international students to find out their take on their label and how they feel about it. Not surprisingly, 3 of us are actually international students, and guess what? We really don't conform to most international student stereotypes. And so, here's our take on this issue.
Interesting that people stereotype me in the way that they think I wouldn't know English or that I wouldn't know how American culture works, because this is like colonialism and westernization. The culture that I come from India, is very similar to the culture that we have here. And I think people think that like Indians are very much like the guy in Simpsons, or Raj Kuthrapali from Big Bang Theory, but like that's not the case. But I don't feel like I'm conforming to their stereotypes.
I feel like with international students, people expect us not to speak English, or they expect us not to be able to immerse ourselves into the Western culture, when in fact like English is my first language and I speak it more than I speak Filipino. Or also, if anything, they also expect me to conform to like Filipino-American stereotype here in the States, and that's not really the case either.
I feel like it's because people don't really educate themselves that much about other cultures, and so, when people find out that I'm an international student and from Indonesia, they expect that I don't know music like Justin Bieber and Jessie J. They even assume that I didn't have water and electricity in my house, which I find really funny, but it really comes down to educating yourself into knowing more cultures, and by doing that you can see how the international student community has so much more dynamic to itself.
Furthermore, we're not the only ones who think that this stereotype is progressively becoming less and less evident.
Some of them are still the same, but I know that a lot of international students that I know personally have started to branch out more and like join fraternities, sororities, different organizations on campus, and have like friends other than just their international friends. So I think that's really cool. I think they've evolved quite a bit.
I've noticed that they I can hear them speaking in English or using English slang. Like recently, especially with technology, it's probably easier for students to be able to connect with other cultures and understand what American culture is like. So a lot of international students, before coming here, they already have a good idea of what American culture is like through TV and books and stuff. So when they come here, they already have somewhat adapted to it, or somewhat like already have ideas of what it's like.
So overall, we found out that yes, while the stereotypes of the OG international students are still prevalent, not all international students uphold that stereotype. Especially in today's world, where the world is becoming more globalized every single day, the disparity between what defines an international student and non-international students are becoming less and less evident as we are sharing a more modern connected culture.